I'm KamalaDevi. I'm a lead faculty for the International...
It's still... just a moment.
We're streaming now.
So I'm on the page, but it's not letting me see anything. It says sign up. I've already liked it. Do I have to sign up to be able to see what's happening?
Crystal Dawn, hold your technical questions, because we are streaming live now, right, Yahoo?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So I'm KamalaDevi. I'm a lead faculty for the International School of Temple Arts. And we are so excited as a collective of teachers and healers and presenters to share a little bit of our heart today. So I'm here with Yehu, who's organizing, and also Eugene's, both of these beautiful brothers are creating this labor of love so that internationally, wherever you are, you can tune in to this group heart. And let's start by taking a deep breath together, everyone. And our intention for this panel, this kind of mosaic of offerings, is to give you a little transmission of who each of us are. So we're going to reveal something vulnerable about ourselves, something a little bit edgy, and then make a brief invitation to workshop or a dance or temple or some offering that we're doing during this week, this weekend, May 1st to May 4th, where the first international online ISTA festival is going out live to the world. And we're really hoping that you get a sense of our transmission, and then you feel called to join us in our various classes, and that you can also get a sense of where your soul wants you to be during that time. So my first question, to all of you, is to actually share something that would make you blush, something that's a little bit vulnerable and you wouldn't normally want to tell, like, the internet, but here we are, and part of this is about stripping down and getting naked. So one quick share to reveal yourself, and we're going to do that before we go into our workshops and our offerings. So it's kind of a around the circle introduction. And since we're gathering, I'm just going to call on some names. How about Brianna?
I had this feeling I was going to go first with the juicy share, and here it goes. Okay. So I'm already blushing, so that's a good sign that this is something that would make me blush to tell the internet. I have, I don't know, for at least the last 20 years or so of my life, had a lot of booty. I've had a lot of booty, right? And I've spent time with a lot of you in person, and many of you have rubbed my booty. But let me tell you, what I really, really love is a big old butt grab and smack. Really love to get my butt smacked.
Good to know. Thank you.
With consent, of course. Yes, you're welcome.
Philippe.
I had a really hard time thinking about what would make me blush. Maybe I'm sort of blush resistant, but what came to me was what makes me humble, and what makes me humble is when part of me learning how to be a better human involves hurting somebody else. That brings a lot of humility, and it can happen with my son or with my partner or people around me. And I have to say, I have so much gratitude for the times where I've gone back and say, I'm sorry, you didn't deserve that. Now I'm learning.
Thank you. Clara.
Hello. Well, I was here feeling...
I'm going to ask you, Clara, to not only introduce yourself, and we'll go back to Brianna and Philippe, to say where in the world you are, as well as whatever introduction before sharing yourself. So go ahead.
Sure. I am tuning in from Barcelona in Spain. And it is now, 1 a.m. and I was feeling into what to share. And really, my truth right now, what is edgy, is that I'm bleeding right now. My womb is screaming, and it's late, and it's quite edgy to come out in the world right now and speak to you all. So that's my vulnerable piece.
Thank you. Good. And really quickly, Philippe, where are you tuning in from?
California, USA.
Brianna?
And Philadelphia, USA.
Woohoo. And Aya, where are you?
Aloha, it's Aya. Calling in from Maui. And I think what would be vulnerable for me to share, or what feels the most alive in my heart at least, is that I grew up in Christianity and I grew up so incredibly disconnected from sex and so incredibly disconnected from my body. And that it's been a lifelong path of reclaiming my own pleasure and coming back to my own power. And yeah, that fills me up with so much excitement and juice for festivals like this and for being able to get to present and talk about sex in an online forum. So thank you.
Aho. Sean.
Hey everyone, Sean from Melbourne. So probably the most challenging for me to share, I actually shared it within an ISTA container once, and to share it with the whole world is even more challenging. And I really believe and I'm really passionate about the power of sharing vulnerably and how that can be healing. And what happened for me for 3 years while teaching this work was I couldn't hold an erection for more than a couple of minutes, and it was really fucking challenging. Ended relationships and all sorts of stuff. And by actually sharing that openly in a group, it's healed. So, yeah.
Thank you. Crystal Dawn. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Crystal. Thank you.
I'm Crystal Dawn Morris. I'm in Sedona, Arizona. I was just on a very intense call. And so, but the thing that embarrasses me is that I'm feeling so in an altered state right now due to a deep process I was in with a bunch of very sweet people, ISTA lead people, and really working through some challenging things. And yeah, really dropped into this vulnerable part of my heart. And yeah, that part of my heart, that's the little girl who is really good at making other people feel good and loving everybody, but doesn't always feel like she's safe in the world and doesn't always feel like she knows how to receive the love that comes to her.
We love you, Crystal Dawn. Thank you. Lori Handlers.
Wow, I was so moved by that, Crystal Dawn. I'm Laurie Handlers. This is Michael Gibson, and we're in Phoenix, Arizona. And something that would make me blush is Michael and I were adamant about never, ever living together. And the coronavirus changed that, and we moved in together, but we have separate rooms. And so the thing that's very vulnerable is that sometimes we sneak into each other's rooms to have sex in the morning, like little kids sneaking in their parents' house.
Thank you, Michael. What do you want to share?
That was actually, yeah, that made me blush. So I discovered since the coronavirus pandemic that I have a new fetish, and it's called face mask. So I know it is. It's just kind of hot to see beautiful women wearing face masks. And anyway.
We get the idea. Thank you.
Give me that.
Marianne. A little foreplay.
That's great, yeah.
Hey, yeah, hi, Marianne from, can you hear me? Yeah, from Australia, Byron Bay. And actually, yeah, so what makes me a bit vulnerable or blushy is that I'm usually quite a powerhouse, but when I lose my structures, such as being able to go to the gym, doing certain beach walks, I really have difficulty maintaining structures at home, like, doing the emotional release and exercising out on my terrace. So yeah, that's really my vulnerability, is where is my discipline when I don't have all these outer sort of, groups that I do things with. And so yeah.
So human. Thank you.
It's bad.
Tree.
Hey. When I think about what makes me blush is when I have a crush, and you'll know I have a serious crush on you because I get really shy and coy, and I'll pretend I'm not interested, kind of thing. Like, it's so second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. And then I'll like muster up the courage to come up and say something, and I'm completely turned into a teenager when I have a serious crush. So if you might suspect that I have a crush on you, then just make the bold move and come talk to me and come grab me, because I really want you to.
Ooh, I love it. Thank you. Yehu, can you share with us something that makes you blush?
Hi. So something that would make me blush or is vulnerable to share is actually this, that with all the passion to share what we do in the world, I actually many times don't leave myself the space and time to live that life that we are trying to teach. So work can come instead of the time to actually feel emotions and dive in and meet myself, and to see how much I use that as bypass sometimes.
Thank you. It inspires me to share. Many people who know me as a public figure and also know that I'm a mother may not know that I had 3 years of fierce postpartum depression, like really hated being a mom, regretted having a kid. It was just like really challenging. Now he's 13 and it's one of the greatest joys of my life. But I want to share that because with the coronavirus, like all of a sudden I'm monogamous and I'm a mama. Like I'm in a house, no other lovers, and my kid. And it's kind of like, it's this strange thing, because like, who am I if I'm not, out in the world? I'm just a mother and a wife, and I'm just getting to learn that side of myself. So thank you guys for being vulnerable, and we invite you, if you're watching this and want to put a vulnerable share in the comments, if you want to reveal yourself and take the challenge, go ahead and do that. We're going to continue by giving almost like an appetizer, almost like a menu, like a description on a menu to appetize you for the various workshops and play shops and dances that we're going to be hosting. And this is just a small taste of a much larger festival, because we have like 50% presenters, and it's a very collaborative vortex. We have a lot of co-presenters, and we're working together and we're sharing teachings. And so we invite you to get a flavor. And I think what I'll do is I will start in reverse order to how we shared before. And that puts it back in your court, Tree. Tell us what, and in terms of, you don't have to tell us when your offering is. Please look at the schedule. It's a really beautifully orchestrated, full-on calendar. Just give us a title and a taste. Tree. Unmute yourself. Great.
My discussion /class/ experience will be on overcoming the freeze state. and very much what I find is very needed for many of us right now during this time of COVID, and also just in general, when we are stuck in freeze, it's very uncomfortable. And sometimes it's not us, sometimes it's someone we know or a client that we have. And so how to overcome that, not to override the wisdom of it, but simply it's time to move on, and how to really move past that with great tools and exercises and journaling, all of that.
Beautiful. Marianne.
Yeah, so I'll be having 2 workshop spaces, and the first one is actually on boundaries. So we will be doing a little bit around boundaries on the wheel of consent. However, what I thought of doing, because it's this Corona time, is to really like move into boundaries with ourselves, in boundaries in life, because what I've been exploring a lot is like, where does the wheel of consent actually happen inside of me? Especially when you're like in lockdown, I'm finding there's this part. So we're going to do some working with different parts of ourselves, that how we cross our own boundaries, you know, as much as when we engage with other people. And that's especially relevant for like me with whole, like having discipline, you know, where's my boundary, my self-care and things like that. So I think that's super relevant right now.
Great.
And the second one is called Freeing the Dragon, as a journey into emotions and sexuality. And it's a guided journey. And it's very easy to do on a Zoom session sort of space. And what it's going to be about is, you know, moving really strong emotions, because we can mute our microphones. And so I want people to have a pillow there, and we're going to be able to like really express emotions that are really stuck right now. And we're going through different like layers related what's happening now, and arriving at a place where we can reconnect with our sexuality in a really juicy way.
So what Marianne's pointing out that I want to highlight is that these are going to be interactive workshops. So even though this video is just a panel where we're giving you a taste, it's not going to be like this when you're in the festival. You're going to be asked to participate, to get sweaty or part naked or naked emotionally. And so right now I'd love to hear Lori and then Crystal Dawn, and then we'll circle back because we had Makatu and Dawn Cherie join us. So we'll have you guys introduce yourself by sharing something that makes you blush. So think of your icebreaker. Lori, tell us about a workshop.
Okay, good. I have 3. So I have 2 by myself and 1 together with Michael. So the first one is moving through powerful emotions for lovers. And I will be going through at least 5 modalities of how to move your emotions quickly, and some with a little bit more time involved. The second one is called Ladi Han, Making Love in the Unknown. And I'm going to discuss all the other Han developments, like Naughty Han. You know, like I'll share all the Hans that we know about. And then Michael and I will be presenting how to be an extraordinary lover. And would you like to say something about it?
Yeah, we'll give a few tips on the 3 thresholds of what we call experiential love. So the first one would be the love of self. The second one is the love of another or your partner. And then finally, love that manifests.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Not manifesting a lover necessarily, but manifestation in like
your dreams.
Your dreams.
Yeah.
Thank you, Crystal Dawn.
Well, Lori and I are very dear friends, and she likes to make love at the unknown, and I like to make love with life. So my presentation is going to be called Making Love with Life. And because of the COVID thing, and because many of us are at home, and especially those of us who are at home with not anyone else, we'll also talk about what is it to be making love with life, because I often like to say how to make love with life no matter what it looks like. And it's easy to make love with life when it looks like some lover that you're attracted to in a juicy situation, but it's not always easy when it's a challenging situation. So it will be a very experiential We'll be dropping into like, what does it mean? What am I? What is it, the I that is the making love? And what am I making love to? And we'll be exploring some aspects of non-dual Tantra, but you don't have to know anything about Tantra to come to my workshop. It's open to anyone. And there'll be some working with circulating energy, breath, sound, and movement. And really, especially for people who maybe don't have a lover or don't have a lover with them, this is a way that you can feel the juiciness by yourself at home, even in line in the bank, 6 feet away from whoever the next person is. And you can still circulate your juicy, sexy energy. So come and make love with life.
Thank you. So we're going to circle back around to Makatu and Crystal to Don Cherie, and then welcome Karam. So we're just going to ask you for the icebreaker, and then we'll ask you later what you're teaching. Makatu.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, so for me, the question is what make me blush? Was that the right one?
Yes.
So I feel like when someone come and speak to the child that's in me and really see this child, and then my child is really shining, and there's this moment of recognition of my child is coming out to play, and me blushing with this sweet moment.
Beautiful.
And maybe it's coming out a bit now even.
Don Cherie. I think you just made me blush. Don Cherie.
I'm so expressive in my emotions and my face, so it's hard to hide any emotions. I used to blush all the time. I hated that about myself. Like, oh, I could just feel the heat rising. So I still think sometimes when I get compliments, I blush, and sometimes when I make bold requests, especially pertaining to sexuality, I can still blush. So that's me.
Fantastic. I'm going to refine the question for both Karam and Xavier. I want you to share something vulnerable about yourself that would make you blush sharing it. So go ahead.
Oh man, that's a difficult one. Yeah, I love sex. What to do? I blush. I'm in the light.
Thank you. Xavier. You're on mute, Xavier. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, something that makes me blush is that, yeah, I'm still evolving every day. And what I'm sure about one day, the day after I doubt it and myself for it. And I know it's all, but what I love one day, the day after, I might focus might be completely somewhere different. And that makes me uncomfortable. So exposing myself and even speaking in public strongly about a fire that I have one day, the day after, if I change my mind, I'm wondering, oh, what was I talking about yesterday? Now my fire is somewhere else completely. And I guess that's my feminine and my masculine being, like my feminine wanting to be free and evolving and flexible and ever changing, and my masculine saying, hang on a minute, I thought we were on that path and now we're on that one here. What's going on? So yeah, I'm still in the process of refining the harmony and the music of that, and I'm not completely at peace with it. So that makes me blush.
Thank you. Let's hear more workshop teasers really briefly. And I think we were on Sean and then Aya and then Clara.
Hey everyone. So my workshop is called Cock Talk. It's a white tent group sharing open forum for cock owners to discuss all things around their sexuality, their relationship with their cock. We will have the invitation is to openly share. You can witness if you just wish to. We'll move into some Q&A, and we'll most likely do some embodiment practices. And we're going to end on a really powerful breathwork journey just to help bring erotic energy more through the entire body. Everyone is welcome, men, women, everyone is welcome. It will be for the cock owners to share initially, but everyone is welcome in the entire workshop. That's it.
I love the inclusivity. Thank you.
Aloha, it's Aya. My workshop is titled The Jade Way and Pleasure as Medicine. So right now during times of COVID, it feels like everything on the outside is contracting and contracting. And so one of the ways that I found myself coming back into my nervous system and coming back into an expanded state is through pleasure and through coming back home into the body. And so my workshop in particular will be exploring pleasure through use of the jade egg. And it's for those who identify as female, but you can come whether you have an egg or not. I'll make sure that the workshop is translatable regardless of whether you have an egg or not. So hope to see you.
Hello again. So I am bringing 2 workshops. The first one is called Meeting the Man Within You. And this one is also for those who identify as female. And, you know, regardless of our gender, we all possess masculine and feminine energy. So this is for women who want to learn more about their masculine energy. It's going to be both a lecture and also an activation of the masculine energy within you, more specifically the mature masculine, so that you know how to get access to it, and by doing so, not project it on the outside, which can so disempower us when we are seeking it outside of us in order to feel complete. Yeah. And the second one, it is called Shamanic Shadow Hunting. This is for the shadow work enthusiasts here. And what I'm going to be offering is a set of really valuable tools to identify and track unconscious and disempowering patterns of behavior that may be draining our life force. So join me if you're curious about that.
Thank you. Philippe, Brianna, and back to Don Shree.
All right. I'm going to be bringing a class called The Art of Sensation Play. It used to be called BDSM for Hippies, but we wanted to make it a little bit more accessible to everyone. So I'm going to be teaching a variety of things you can do with your body to create pleasurable or sometimes painful yet pleasurable experiences in other people's bodies. There's going to be an exploration around consent and around the things you can do with your teeth, with your feet, not with your feet. That's the next class. You'll be able to learn about biting, slapping, touching, grabbing, nails, and a few other little tidbits here and there. So the idea is to give you things you can do in bed. Some of it is skill, but also some of it is art. So I welcome you, and you'll have to have a partner inside your house in order to practice with. If you don't, you can try a cat. Thank you.
Okay, so I think I was next here. I'm going to go ahead. Again, my name is Brianna, and I was trying to fix my lighting as I went, which is perfect. That I kept thinking, oh, there's just so much shadow here, and it's perfect because what I'll be talking about in my workshop, and not just talking about, but really creating an experiential process around, is a deepening of release. So working with the emotional release tools. And it's also great that Lori said that she was going to share at least 5, because we'll coordinate and we can actually do a whole crossover and make sure that we're giving the full experience of some emotional release processes, and maybe even creating a few more to add into the mix. But really working with emotions that are often in the shadow, and working with emotions that are in the shadow in all of the ways that it might come up. So this is really about an integration process. So even if you've learned emotional release process before, this is going to take it a step further. I know that when I first learned emotional release, I wasn't in a practice of working with these tools for at least a few months after I first attended an ISTA festival. And this is also for anyone who's never been to ISTA. For all levels, all beginners. Will work with basics and really just connect to ways to deeper connect right down into emotions on a practical day-to-day basis.
Thanks for saying that, Brianna. Brianna, I want to emphasize this before we go to Dawn that this festival is really inclusive. We're doing this like initiatory transmission to people who feel called to do this. And there's also a lot of the ISTA field itself. So the International School of Temple Arts is a mystery school, and we have a live pulsing community that has a lot of experience and tribe. And so this is for many people just a door, like their first doorway. And we want to, welcome you into the soul tribe. So it's a really a fun, safe, and solo way to experience the synergy of what the mystery school has to offer. So we're going to go back to Dawn, then it's Makatu and Karam, and then Minta just joined us. So I'm going to make sure that before we wrap up, we get to hear something that makes you blush, Minta. Dawn.
Hi. So something that we've been working with in core is this idea of prophecy and listening and visioning. And for me, what's alive is doing the interpersonal relating, the emotional release work, the grief work, anything that is preventing our vertical current, our listening, our deep listening. I think we all need to be channeling and listening and attuning ourselves. So something for me that is around the theme of my offerings is through my class, using Eros as medicine to also vision. And something that's also really big is clearing the grief around our heart and heart health and breast health as well. That's really coming up for me, and that's been alive. So that's going to be my offering here, and then also weaving in with Pele Ohad Pele Ohad to me, is singing, a time for singing and heart shares, singing and heart songs, and that will be another offering, as well as since he's not on, I'll speak on behalf of him. We're going to also do a temple, and I have the opportunity to be live with several people here, quite a number of people that we can also move and vibrate energy. So we'll be having a live temple and transmitting that out. And lastly, in very, very exciting is this ritual theater piece that I'm bringing in, also with the idea of visioning, listening, prophecy and creativity, using different archetypes and characters to listen and have a artistic, creative expression, and kind of window into where this kind of opening the Narnia closet and seeing the characters that are here, and it's going to be really alive and a lot of fun and quite a ecstatic expression, and a deep expression, also aligning with STAR, which is the ritual theater branch of ISTA. So this is happening here at the end, towards the end of the festival.
Hey, this is Makatu. So I'm co-organizing this event with Yehu and Eugene, which by itself, it's kind of a huge workshop. We are learning new things here. And so it's a workshop for all of us. I'm happy to be a part of that. And on the festival, I'm gonna explain about an amazing tool that I learned in ISTA, which is the Safer Sex Talk. And this is one of the things that I kind of took straight after level 1 and really helped me in my life. And it's a way, before we come intimate, to really bring or to the surface all the unspoken and really set a beautiful set of boundaries between the people before they engage sexually. And I'm really amazed how significant this tool is, and also how anyone, regardless if you've done ISTA or not, can use this tool for better communication. So I'm looking forward for that. I also will hold a dance temple session together with an amazing DJ named Yudan. And yeah, that's about that. Excited about those two. And I don't know who is next. I can keep on speaking about the festival.
Kara here. Hello.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have a moment with the one of you who wants about sex, trauma, tantra, healing, and spiritual expansion. It's like understanding. I'm coming from a place of a traumatized person around sex. I didn't know. I had to discover it somehow. It took me quite a moment to even understand that I was traumatized. Then understanding that I was self-medicalized somehow through Tantra. Tantra really helped me to heal. And I didn't know why. But later, now especially that we know much more about what is a trauma and what we can do in order to resolve the trauma, and discover that the trauma can be also not a curse, but on another way, a door to spiritual expansion, was very, very interesting, like understanding the whole thing. We cannot force healing, but we can promote it. And it's the same thing around spiritual expansion. You cannot force it, but for sure you can create conditions where this is much more possible. And around sex, there is a lot of trauma. So I found, and it's really dear to me, that it's this understanding, it's can be so meaningful. It can be really life transforming. So that's what I want to share. There will be question, answer, and I like what you mentioned, KamalaDevi, rather than a workshop, a play shop. I really like that. And actually, if I would say, KamalaDevi, that I find you very attractive and sexy, I'm blushing too. Thank you.
If you come off mute.
Yes, thank you. I'm blushing too. And I would say that somebody should do a course on how to flirt on Zoom. That should be a next tantric class. Before we wrap up, we've got Triumpaka, we've got Xavier, and myself. But before we share our courses, I want to hear what makes Minta blush.
Hey, apparently thinking about blushing is making me blush. I feel like that flush come to my cheeks. What came to mind was when I get caught singing and I'm not aware that someone's listening to me. That definitely does it. There's like a little nervousness that, and then if I get praised for something or appreciated for something that I wasn't even aware I was doing in myself, that initial response in me tends to be a blush. I love your question.
Thank you. Tree, tell us what you're offering. Oh, muting. Oh, we need to unmute you, honey.
So I already did share my class, but I'm happy to repeat it.
No, we've got you. Now I'm blushing because I fumbled. But we'll go back to Xavier. And wait, just before we do, other than Minta and Xavier, we've heard from everybody else, right? Oh, Yehu, we've got to hear. Are you offering something? No, he's going to do a closing piece.
I'll do a concert.
Woohoo!
Yes, I'm going to do a live concert with my music in the middle of the festival, with me and with Yudan that will join me with the violin. Yeah, music and stories.
Yum. Xavier.
Yes, so I'm going to share a piece that I'm very passionate about because this is something that I practice every day. And it's about finding my superpower, but mostly it's raising my vibration to a state where I am in my power, in my superpower. And so for this, it's going to be a beginner class. I'm going to keep it very simple with very simple little practices, little exercise. So it's better if you can come in pairs, so we can be witnessed and we can practice in front of each other. And it's going to be something that integrates our whole being. So it's going to be from the physical, from the animal body, from the heart, from our emotion, from our spirit. So it's going to be both explanations and lecture, and at the same time little exercises that are practical and that usually makes me and make the participants very energized and raise the serotonin, raise the level of happiness, because our power and the respect that we have around ourselves, the level of maturity is very high. So I'm very excited to share this.
Wonderful. I want to just practically add that Zoom has, for those of you who are, solo and you're wondering, how do I do a Tantra festival if I'm home, I'm quarantined alone? And I want to say, especially for those of you that are alone, come do this. And Zoom has technologies to put us in private rooms and partner us up. And so we will be doing a lot of interaction, even if you're alone. So good. Thank you, Minta.
Yes. If you're alone and you want to come, one of the things that I really love doing is bring a mirror and do the practice in front of yourself, in front of the mirror.
Great.
So I'm going to be offering a 2-hour workshop. I'm calling it Resilience. So it's really tuning into what is the tool set that's going to support us at this time, recognizing that for many of us in many different ways in our life, we may be at a point of endings, of letting go of what has been familiar to us. So this 2-hour workshop is going to be an opportunity to kind of strengthen our skill sets and our muscles around conscious endings, which may not sound like a very juicy thing to do. But what will happen is when we give ourselves permission to return to something from our past, something that is perhaps unfinished in your heart, that is still potentially causing you some contraction or that weighs on you. And if you're willing to be courageous enough just to open the doorway and to vibrate and see what's there through some beautiful practices that I want to share with you, what we find is space, and we can breathe in a totally new way that allows us to actually, it's like repack the baggage in a way that there's space, and actually it becomes, instead of weighing us down, it supports us to move forward. So it'll also hopefully support you to meet this current intense, unstable chapter on the world with recognizing that you've already navigated lots of endings and that they support you to know what your truth is in the now. So if that resonates, come join me.
Thank you. So needed right now. Really appreciated. My gender bending self-expression forum is going to be a space where a creative, performative, deep sharing space where you can tap into the non-dominant gender. If you're, we do all this work to identify the qualities of our inner male or female or masculine or feminine. And when we do that, it's sometimes inner and hidden. Well, here's an opportunity to come out and to reveal it and to allow yourself to be surprised. So it might not even just be coming out. It might be channeling and meeting and encountering and expressing parts of your inner opposite that you haven't fully realized yet. So look forward to seeing you there. And all of these different workshops can be found on the schedule. So you won't want to go through the schedule, mark your calendar with the ones that you're interested in, tell your friends so you can have friends and lovers to go through this journey with you, because that's a way of getting more out of the experience. So you have community who can support you with the new vocabulary and tools. Anything else that you want to share, Makatu or Yehu, about this threshold? We're almost starting this festival. Is there anything as the organizers that would support people in getting the most out of the festival?
Yeah. So just to say how excited I am to hear all of these offerings, even though I was working on the lineup and I know what is being offered. But even more than that, I'm excited by knowing that this is not even half of the presenters, because this is an international festival with presenters from all over the world. Half of them are asleep right now. And that's how potent it is. Yeah, what was in this talk times 2 or 3. So we'll have lots of offerings and workshops, some that are for you to practice alone, and many that are interactional through Zoom, putting you to interact and meet people from all over the globe, from the US to Europe to Israel to Asia. Yeah, people are really coming from everywhere. So this is about diving deep into ourselves and also about connecting with the global tribe through this opportunity. Yeah, that's exciting. And that's starting on this Friday, on the 1st of May for most places other than New Zealand and Australia. For there it would be actually the 2nd of May. So we're starting 4 days of content. And referring to what you said about interactions as well, so we actually have also a lounge space, which is a guided mingling room, where there would be all kinds of activities that are not for going deep, but actually for just connecting the tribe, for meeting you, the participants. Yeah, so join us. We actually made it intentionally very accessible, both online, also price-wise. There is like different steps of prices, depends on where you are, where you feel you are financially right in this time. So check the website www.istafestival.online. There you can find all the information, and also we put the link in the post, and join us.
Beautiful. So I'm going to invite us to put our hands up and to give a love shower to whoever's been watching and sharing. And this is sending energy and touch and juice around the world. Woohoo! Yeah, thank you. Blessing.
Would you like to mention the global temple that is happening tomorrow?
Right.
That one is for free. Yes.
That's right. Yeah, thank you for the reminder. So tomorrow, or depends where you are, maybe it is today already. So 28th of May, 3 p.m. Central Europe time, we'll have a global temple activating healthy breath for the planet. So Raffaello, which is a ISTA lead faculty, with Michal Maayan, who is ISTA faculty, would come together and do a ISTA-friendly temple to vibrate together, move our energy, move our emotions, and pray together. So join us. That's a free event that would happen tomorrow, today, depends where you are, 3 p.m. Central Europe time.
Gorgeous. So everyone take yourselves off mute and we can breathe and sound on the goodbye.